Hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. In 1985, Kingston was a musical battlefield where the hottest DJs battled for supremacy in the weekly sound clashes that took place in the capital. Amidst the elite sound systems that ruled in those times, like King Jammy's and the Black Scorpio crew, an outfit called Youthman Promotions was among the heavy hitters that made that epoch the pinnacle of Jamaica's sound system history. While other sound systems were pure business outfits, Youthman Promotions was a charity organization that was the brainchild of legendary reggae dancehall icon Sugar Minott. After experiencing the unfair sides of the music business as a young artist, he was overwhelmed with a vision to put together a movement that would be powered by the youth, with the youth, and for the youth. Sugar Minott emerged as one of Jamaica's greatest philanthropists, as he would literally pour in millions of dollars of his own money into that vision. And the vision in question was to create a rallying point for talented youngsters who had nowhere to go, one which would be free from the politics, greed, and overbearing influence of the dons of the music business. It was simply a groundbreaking idea and concept that was unlike anything seen before in Jamaica. In the beginning, it was a roaring success, but when it seemed that it was about to go to the next level, it got hit systematically by various factors, which included unreliable partners, societal changes, and not to mention corrupt government officials, and eventually government regulations that put an end to Sugar Minott's dream. Let's take a look at the rise and fall of Sugar Minott's charity foundation, the Youthman Promotions. The seeds of that organization were sown in 1975. Sugar Minott had just joined Coxsone Dodd's Studio One as a solo artist after the breakup of his group, the African Brothers. His arrival at Studio One would mark a rebirth of that outfit which had ruled the 1960s, but was then facing stiff competition from several new studios in Jamaica. After 4 incredible years at Studio One, unleashing hit songs and classic albums like Showcase and Live Lovin', he parted ways with Coxsone Dodd in 1978 due to limited financial rewards, despite his music selling really well. However, his split from Coxsone Dodd wasn't acrimonious at all, as he had acquired plenty of experience and knowledge over there. At just 22 years old, and inspired by other young artists like Dennis Brown and Gregory Isaacs, who had established their own record labels, he decided to take his destiny into his own hands. He got the idea to launch his own imprint and sound system, but with a special vision behind it. His experiences inspired him to establish a sort of cooperative without a boss per se. He would nurture and mentor younger artists, and when they were ready, they would all start to record and perform. And unlike their counterparts attached to bigger labels, they would all have creative control as well as ownership of all their intellectual property and distribution channels, in effect totally bypassing the exploitative structures of the music business. And to bring this to life, Sugar would register the Black Roots record label as a business and Youthman Promotions as a charity foundation, and he would set up his base for this endeavor at the now iconic 82 Chisholm Avenue in Maxfield Park. And that neighborhood became like a mecca for practically thousands of aspiring youngsters from all over Jamaica. Sugar Minott was a born leader and people's person, and had a charisma that drew people towards him in droves. And over time, countless talented youth would find their way to Youthman Promotions' yard, all looking for his mentorship. And these youth included future greats like Tenor Saw, Tony Rebel, Junior Reid, Yami Bolo, Daddy Freddy, and Garnet Silk. Sugar, with his limited resources, took care of that multitude, from accommodation, feeding, clothing, and even paying the tuition fees of the youth who were still within the schooling age. An endeavor which often left him penniless and without money to get Black Roots' first album off the ground. But his goodwill opened doors for him, as some local gangsters or bad men who admired his charity gave him a gift of $800, which he used to record the album named Ghettoology in 1979, with inputs from his new comrades. That album was of great quality and was picked up by UK-based Trojan Records, and the money from that deal got reinvested into the cause. 2 more singles, In River Jordan and Man Hungry Again, became smash hits in Jamaica, and the proceeds were also reinvested straight into Youthman Promotions and helped to finance the phenomenal Black Roots album that also came out in 1979. And putting it mildly, that compilation was simply phenomenal and was picked up in a deal with Island Records subsidiary Mango. But late that year, Sugar Minott decided to move to the UK to exploit the heavy demand for his music and the big opportunities that were opening up for him over there. He left Youthman Promotions and Black Roots in the care of his friends and partners Jimmy Brown and Keith Hartley, and he left thinking nothing could go wrong, as everything seemed ready to fly smoothly on autopilot. His gifted youngsters like Tristan Palmer and the very young Little John had already cut their teeth performing alongside him at sound system dances and could hold their own with older affiliate artists like Captain Sinbad, who was always ready to guide them as necessary. Sugar Minott quickly became a hit in England by early 1980 with the hit song Lovers Rock and an album titled Roots Lovers. And the next year, in 1981, his album Good Thing Going also became a hit, with its title track reaching number 4 in the UK singles charts. He was doing very well over there, but his responsibilities to Black Roots and Youthman Promotions would force him to return to Jamaica in 1982. But when he got back, he saw many problems and plenty of unrest in the collective. To begin with, there was crazy friction between Jimmy Brown and all the youth. It so happened that Sugar had been sending money, clothes, and all sorts of stuff to his youth posse through Jimmy. But unfortunately, Jimmy would divert it to his own friends and to himself. And also, the Youthman Promotions yard had become overwhelmed with people, some productive and many of them untalented and pure dead weight. But Sugar was always up for a challenge and would for a start cut ties with Jimmy Brown and would slowly but steadily build Youthman Promotions into a super formidable sound system. He and his crew steadily became feared in sound clashes, and by the mid-1980s were almost unbeatable thanks to red hot talents like Tenor Saw and Nitty Gritty. But tragedy would strike in 1984 when their ace sound engineer Buddy Bye, along with 2 others, passed away in a car accident. And not long after, a new sound system owned by a man called Kenneth Black, aka Skengman or Skeng Don, took advantage of Youthman Promotions' modest finances and began to poach their best talents like Yami Bolo by 1986. In those times, Sugar was very busy doing foreign tours, trying to raise money for the cause, and wasn't able to hold his best toasters from leaving. In his absence, the sound system dances would continue with the guidance of his older lieutenants like Major Stitch. The dances at Youthman's yard were always epic and well attended, but without Sugar's presence and influence, some corrupt cops began to harass the crew. They would show up and extort money or simply arrest revelers for smoking herb at the venue, and when they couldn't extort any money, they would just shut down the dances. And slowly but surely, this would impact the fortunes of the dances as revelers began to stay away. Sugar would spend the rest of the 1980s putting out fires and solving all kinds of problems that kept popping up, and poured in incredible amounts of resources to keep it going. But what hurt him the most was that practically all the youth that he had nurtured to success, like Yami Bolo, Tenor Saw, Nitty Gritty, Little John, Junior Reid, and many others, left the outfit to go and chase their own dreams. By the early 1990s, dancehall had morphed from its foundational reggae rhythms to a hybrid hip-hop influenced sound that artists like Beanie Man and Shabarangs were putting out. And Youthman Promotions would struggle to adapt to this shift. And by then, newer sound systems like Stone Love and others had taken the lead and left Sugar's outfit far behind. It was barely hanging on and was getting by mostly on the strength of past achievements, when a new law called the Noise Abatement Act came into effect in 1997, a law targeting outdoor sound systems, and this delivered the fatal blow to Youthman Promotions. Though it still technically existed, I believe Sugar Minott had by then lost the will to continue pushing it, and for the next 10 plus years, he focused all his energy on recording new music and touring until his sudden passing in 2010 of heart failure. And he passed away without seeing his dream truly realized. But it wasn't all doom and gloom, mind you, as he lived to see many of his proteges become superstars. And even if they didn't stick around to build proteges of their own as he would have wanted, the humanitarian in him was happy and content to have touched their lives the way he did. But mind you, it's not all over for Youthman Promotions, as Sugar Minott's children, led by his daughter Ashanti Minott, have taken up the cause to preserve their father's legacy. And while they may not achieve the same impact as their father had done, it will definitely touch some lives and shape destinies. An outcome which I'm sure Sugar Minott would be very proud of. So there you have it. Thank you for watching this video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, God bless.